If you've always wanted to drive a Mini Cooper, but the small size just doesn't work for your family, well, I've got a vehicle for you. This is the new 2025 Mini Countryman. This is actually the biggest car that Mini has ever made. It's grown 3 inches compared to the outgoing Countryman, meaning that if you've been wanting a Mini, but their size just doesn't work for your family, this one might actually change your mind. I am reviewing the Countryman S. I already have videos of the upcoming Countryman SE, which is going to be the all-electric model, and the sporty JCW model on our channel, so be sure to watch those. But in this video, we're going to be covering the Countryman S, which is now arriving at dealerships, so you can go and buy these now. Let's see if the Countryman S is the right Countryman for you. So now, instead of just using our green car for the walk around, I'm actually at an event called Mini Takes the States, where we have so many different Minis here that I have this full lineup of Countrymans that I can show you various details on all of the different trims. So why would I just show you one when I can kind of show you pretty much everything that you're going to be getting on the Countryman? So let's start at this chili pepper red one. So this is going to be the Signature Plus. So there's only 2 trim levels that you can get on the Countryman S. Remember, there's no base Countryman right now, at least in the US. All Countryman S's are going to come with the all-4 all-wheel drive system. So this is going to be the Signature Plus trim, and we're looking at a classic. So there's 2 different styles that you can get. You can get classic or favored. The favored is gonna unlock certain things. You can get more roof colors and things like that. So you can see right here, we have a chili red, which is a really nice looking color with a black roof. You can also get a silver roof. You can also get a body color roof. You can get a bunch of different roof colors, which is really cool. This one is gonna ride on the base 18-inch wheels, which honestly I think look a little bit basic. Not a big fan of those. You can upgrade on this trim to 19-inch wheels for $600, and you can also opt for the 20-inch wheels for $1,200. That's on the Signature Plus trim level. If you upgrade to the Iconic, you can actually keep those 18-inch wheels. Maybe you want a smaller wheel for ride comfort or whatever, or for no cost, you can actually get these wheels, which are going to be the 19-inch wheels. I actually love this blue on the Countryman as well. I think this is a really good looking color. Or for $600 extra, you can get these 20-inch wheels. I'm not a huge fan of these, to be honest. I think the spokes are just a little bit big in my personal opinion. So I don't know if I would spend the extra money getting the 20-inch wheels on either of the classic or Iconic trims, in my personal opinion. But that's basically what you can get here with the Countryman. We'll also talk about the sizing. So this thing is 175 inches long. The old Countryman was just under 170 inches. So it's grown by over 5 inches, but it's still not a huge car. To give you some perspective, the Alfa Romeo Tonale, which is the smallest car Alfa Romeo makes, is 178.3 inches. So honestly, this Countryman is still not that big of a car, crossover wise, compared to the rest of the market, even though it's the biggest car that Mini makes. Now, the styling has changed. It's gotten a little bit more boxy than the previous Countryman. We've got these really cool headlights that you can actually configure to one of 3 different styles. There are different lighting elements that you can kind of use, which is really cool. And the taillights do pretty much the same thing. When you walk up to the car with the key in your pocket, it should give us a pretty cool lighting animation, if you can kind of see that here on the taillight. And there are different patterns that you can choose from. They pair with the headlights. I don't think you can individually change the headlights and taillights, but there are 3 different patterns that look really cool. It does say Countryman real big with the red S, letting you know that you do have the little bit of a faster model, although there is no base model, at least right now in the US. And I can also show you what the John Cooper Works model looks like. I actually do have a full first drive review of the John Cooper Works if you're interested in seeing a more in-depth review of that car. But as you can see, a little bit different grille here. We've got kind of a checkered flag pattern here. We've got our John Cooper Works badge. Our Mini logo is going to be blacked out here. You've got some red accents here. This one is going to have different wheels from any of the other Countrymans, again with more of that checkered flag pattern. On the inside, you're going to be getting some different seats as well. But if you do get the favored trim of the Cooper S, of the Countryman S, it's not going to be the exact same seat in terms of pattern, because you're not going to get the black and red, but you are going to get the same bolstered sport seat, which is kind of cool. I can also show you what the JCW model looks like in blue. This is actually the first time I've gotten to see a blue JCW. I think the only ones I've seen previously are white and black. So loving the blue, loving how you have the quad exhaust tips down here. You don't have exposed exhaust on the Countryman S, so might be one reason to consider the Countryman JCW. Again, we have Countryman written in black now with our John Cooper Works badge right here. And then this one has kind of the silver roof and silver mirror caps as well. Honestly, this is probably the best way that I have seen a JCW to date. This blue one looks really darn cool. So there are some really good colors on all of these cars. Now let's hop inside the Countryman that we will be driving for this. We've got our British Racing Green, which I think pairs extremely well with this Veskin interior. It's a vegan leather in what they call a classic brown color, sorry, vintage brown. And this is just such a great combo. The green, the brown, such a British color combo. It's honestly great. These are actually the same sport seats that you're gonna get on the JCW model. You get them as part of the iconic package here on this Countryman S model. We've got some colored stitching here. We've got kind of a gray, we've got red, we've got the little Mini logo right here. This is a heated seat. Sadly, Mini has still not introduced ventilated seats on any of their models. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity because they are trying to punch up market as a company, and there are competitors in this space that do offer ventilated seats. However, you do get a massage seat. Only on the driver's seat, the passenger does not get the massage, which is a little bit of a weird choice, but you do get a massage here on the driver's side. And then that vintage brown is paired with this kind of blue dash. You can see it fades from brown to blue here, and then blue on the upper dash portion as well. This is made from kind of a recycled water bottle fabric, which is kind of cool. So Mini says it's water resistant and it shouldn't get too dirty if you are concerned about that. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you how well that really stands up in practice because this is a brand new car and I haven't put thousands of miles on it. Now, all Minis are gonna have basically this same layout. We've got this really thick, chunky steering wheel. The third spoke is actually just a fabric strap right here. We don't have an actual gauge cluster. Instead, we have this kind of cool head-up display. You've got this interesting turn key. It's not actually a key, but it kind of functions like one. But it does work just like a push-button start, where you don't actually need a key. But you do get that sensation of turning a key that you've kind of lost over the years from having a push-button start. And now you can see the head-up display, which honestly, it's a little bit, you know, cheaper that they used one of these that pops out of the dash rather than one built into the actual glass. But the benefit of that is I'm wearing polarized sunglasses right now, and I can see that absolutely perfect. So doesn't look as good as being in the glass, but it actually functions better than most head-up displays that I've ever used. So that's actually pretty good. All new Minis are gonna get this new 9.4-inch circular infotainment system. I think it looks great. I think it has a couple of issues that they have to iron out. They can update it via over-the-air software. And the last time I drove this was actually in Portugal on a first drive event. Very buggy, very laggy, not very good response time. It's definitely gotten quicker since the last time I've used it. You can see it's got a little bit of a snappier response. But my favorite feature of this is definitely the personal assistant. You can have it be a Mini Cooper, this little one right here, or you can have it be Spike, this adorable little dog who actually changes colors depending on the drive modes. But if I say, "Hey Mini, where were you born?"
I was born in England, although I have brothers that are born in the Netherlands and Indonesia.
That's really funny because Mini builds cars everywhere, which is super clever. So there's a bunch of different things you can ask it. You can say, "Hey Mini, tell me a joke."
What did the Mini win at the Olympics? The gold pedal.
A gold pedal. Okay, so, you know, it works the same way the Mercedes does. It's a lot snappier than before. I love Spike. I think he's so cute. You've got this little experiences tab right here. You can put the car into its core mode, which is what we were in. Go-kart mode is really cool. This is going to function as the sport mode. It does different sound effects whenever you change drive modes, which you can turn off if you don't really like it. But now we've got the speedometer here in the center. I hated that Mini got rid of that when they went to screens here in the middle, but you've got your tack right here. The head-up display is going to change as well. Spike is going to change as well. Let's pull him up. See, now he's black with like a little bit of red. So that's kind of cool as well, that even he changes with the different experiences. You've got your green mode, which is going to be kind of your eco driving mode. That's going to change. You can see more of a relaxing sound. Now we've got this kind of power gauge to let us know how efficiently we're driving. I love the timeless one. I think this one's really cool. This one makes it look like a classic Mini. There we go. And if we pull up Spike, again, see now he's kind of this beige color, which is really cool. All right, thank you, Spike. And then let's see what other drive modes we have. See, I can tell you it's a little bit annoying getting under this stuff. We have a trail mode, we have a balance mode, and then you can also set like a custom mode where you get your own wallpaper, which is kind of cool. So you can really customize this screen how you like it. So I do really like that. All automatic transmissions on here. It's 7-speed dual clutch. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's how you use your shifter. We do have a 360 camera really well. This is all BMW stuff, so really high resolution cameras here. We do have a volume knob here as well, which is nice. We've got our wireless charging pad right here, a little bit of storage right here, cup holders here. Because we have the favored trim here, we've got this little storage box. We've got some Tic Tacs in here. You can get this as just like an open area if you go for the regular non-iconic trim. So you don't have to get this little storage box, but I do kind of like it. I think it's really nice. And then we do have this sliding armrest as well. So I had some complaints about the technology, but I do think it is better than any tech we've ever had in a Mini before. I should mention it does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it looks kind of weird only as like a square in the screen. But this is definitely the nicest interior that we've ever had on a Mini. This does feel a lot more premium than other cars in its segment, and I really do like spending a lot of time in this cabin. Moving on to the back seat. Because the Countryman is bigger than the outgoing model by about 3 inches, you are going to get more legroom, something that nobody's really going to complain about if you've got kids or even adults that are going to be sitting back here. I love how even the back seat Mini paid attention to the details, giving you the little Mini logos right here, giving you this nice little blue accent here on the center armrest here. We've got this nice stitch pattern down here as well with the nice perforation. So even this area looks pretty nice. We've got the nice panoramic roof that extends all the way to the back. The seat backs look really nice. You get door pockets on the seat backs on both sides. You get more of that fabric here on the door with, again, the nice door handle as well. Big cup holder area here in the door as well if you don't want to use the center armrest or you have 3 people sitting back here. Air vents, USB-C ports, a little bit of storage down here. As you can see, I have more legroom than I've had in previous Countryman models. I also have a ton of headroom back here as well. So this is definitely the most spacious Countryman that Mini has ever made. Now, because the Countryman is larger than ever before, you get more trunk space, about 25% more than the outgoing Countryman. You get 16.2 cubic feet back here with the seats up. If you drop it down, you're going to get about 54.5 cubic feet. As you can see, we have enough for a large suitcase, a smaller one, and then you could probably fit some backpacks here as well. We decided to put our stuff in the back seat for today while we are doing our road trip in the Countryman. You also have a little bit of storage underneath the floor. I can remove one of these bags to show you. So if you are smart with how you pack, you can also get a little bit of stuff underneath there as well. So you could actually fit a decent amount of stuff in the Countryman if you are going to be taking a family road trip. Mini said that they were losing customers to other brands because the Countryman just wasn't big enough to suit their customers' needs. So they made the Countryman a little bigger in hopes that they'll stick with the Mini brand. All right, so now let's get behind the wheel of the all-new Countryman S and talk about how it drives. We're going to start with the engine, which is seriously upgraded from the last Countryman S, which only produced about 189 horsepower. The 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine under the hood of this new Countryman now produces 241 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, which is good for a 0 to 60 time in 6.2 seconds, which is pretty darn quick. There is a Countryman C model that has front-wheel drive and has a little bit less power than this, but Mini has not confirmed whether or not the US is going to be getting that model yet. We are going to be getting the John Cooper Works JCW model, which I have driven separately in a first drive review. That produces 312 horsepower and the same 295 pound-feet of torque, but it lowers the 0 to 60 time to just 5.4 seconds. So if you're looking for the quickest Countryman, you are probably going to want to look at the JCW, or you can also look at the Countryman SE, which is the all-electric model. It actually produces about the same power as the JCW, but because it's electric, the torque is more immediate. It actually produces way more torque than the gas-powered JCW model, and having driven both, in my personal opinion, I think the SE is actually the more fun of the two. But let's get back and focus on the Countryman S. We have all-wheel drive. All 4 is what Mini calls its all-wheel drive system, and we have that going out through a new 7-speed dual clutch transmission. I believe that the old Countryman S used a dual clutch, whereas the JCWs used an 8-speed torque converter automatic. Now all Countrymans are going to be using the 7-speed dual clutch. It is a really good transmission. The only problem that I have with it is when you get this Countryman S, which is kind of a sporty car. They're, Minis are always supposed to be pretty sporty. There are no paddle shifters here on this S model, so there is no way for me to take manual control of the car. If I want to get a quick downshift, I have to just push the pedal down. It does kick down pretty quickly. The transmission is pretty quick to respond, but there are some instances where I do wish that I had manual control to go boom, boom, get my downshifts. You can hear a nice little engine note. Some of that is being pumped in as well. But the power delivery is really good here. I'm really liking that they increased the power quite significantly here on this Countryman S compared to the outgoing model. This new model feels a lot quicker. In terms of how it drives, I actually just drove the new Cooper, the 3-door model, and this definitely feels a lot more comfortable. We've got softer suspension, although it is a little firmer than some of its rivals, but you're buying a Mini, you kind of want that sporty driving characteristic. The steering is also a little bit lighter than it is in the Cooper, so keep that in mind if you are maybe cross-shopping this with the 5-door Cooper. You get a little bit lighter steering. You can make it a little bit heavier by putting the car into its go-kart setting, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. I get my nice speedometer and my tachometer, and now when I floor it, we get a lot more pumped in engine sound. The gearbox is a lot more willing to give me a downshift when I need it. Again, no manual way to do it, which is a little bit disappointing, but now that we're in go-kart mode, the steering definitely tightens up quite a bit, kind of on par with the level of the Cooper. So if you like a little bit of a heavier steering, just go ahead and leave your Countryman in go-kart mode, and now you get a little bit more fun. I really think the Countryman balances pretty much everything people are going to want in a Mini. It's now big enough that you can use it for your family. In go-kart mode, it still has that fun, eager handling that you really want. It doesn't beat you up in this S trim. The JCW has a little bit firmer suspension, but this is a really fun car to drive. If you're not wanting to go electric, and I do understand that the SE only is going to have about a 212 mile range here in the US, and I know that's not enough for some people who would want to take family road trips. It certainly wouldn't be enough to do what we're doing today with the car, which is driving all through the state of Colorado. You'd have to stop to charge a few times. If you're not wanting to get the SE because you do a little bit more than your average commute city driving, you take a lot of road trips, I think this S probably the one to get. I think the JCW might be a little bit more fun than this because you do get the paddle shifters, you get a little bit more noise. It makes some fake pops through the speaker system that you don't get here on the S, but if I'm being honest, those are just a little bit too theatric for me. I'd rather it be kind of a real exhaust note, and if I'm not going to get a real exhaust note anyway, I feel